Hello and welcome back to Red Fox Classics and the restoration of this 1969 Mark II GT6. We're slowly getting to the point where the bodywork is finished, but not quite yet. Still a few things remain to be done, and one of those is what we're going to start with today. So you see, we are missing a chunk of this wing. Now last time we got this edge of the sidelight surround built, or sidelight mount, and made sure that it was going to match with the valance. So now we need to do the same here, and then the rest of the bonnet can be repaired, so long as we just don't change anything. But getting that section in and make sure it fits nicely with the valance is the kind of critical bit. So we do have the start of a repair piece that the previous owner of this car had begun to make, and it's good enough that I think we can use it. It doesn't quite fit with how I built this, and the bottom of it is not very sharply bent, but it's probably a good starting point. So I'll get that out and we'll have a look at how it fits and go from there. Alright, so here it is, formerly part of some Valencia blue Triumph or other. It's actually quite decent paint still. Anyway, put it on so that bit lines up. It's not gonna fit. Because really I need it to be there. So we'll go with the valance. And it feels like that's going to work. In this area, I'm probably not going to use this bit. I'm hoping to be able to scrounge something off of the rear of the wing from the other side, the one that I've replaced. So first of all, I want to see if I can make that a bit sharper, because that's okay. And here, that's a very shallow curve, and it really should be a bit more crisp. So that's the first thing, is can I sharpen that up? If I can, then this piece is looking like it'll be pretty good, because it's already quite well shaped. And it's just going to be a case of tidying it up a bit and fitting it in, if I can make myself happy with that. So I think probably what I'll do is put the toe dolly in the vise and try and work around that. Okay, that's actually gone alright. So what I want to next try is to get that bend in just a little bit further. I think the line of it is pretty good, it's just the position doesn't work anymore. It's still going to come a bit more, but the line still seems good. It seems like this is getting very close. See if I can get and tighten it up a little bit and get it a bit further round as well, because it's quite an angular join between those two pieces. So after all the hammer and dollying and some that you've just seen, I've got that, so it'll sit quite nicely against the wing and the, what do you call it, valance. It's not meeting up over here, but as I said, I think I'm going to try and steal the bits of the right hand wing to make that up, but it's meeting up nicely with the remains of the existing wing. I can get it so I've got a good gap both ways. I've actually, my bend is really too far over, but I'm going to have to, let's just flatten that out now. See what I'm talking about? The bend, this bit is in the right sort of place, but obviously then that curves away, which we don't want. Okay, what I want to do now is get a couple of cleco'ds in, at least one there, probably there and there, and then look at what we do about this arch. So I'm going to get a clamp on it, and this bit up here doesn't fit anymore. Okay, so I think I'll cut myself a chunk off the rear wheelarch. Cut myself a chunk off the other bit of wheelarch, throw it in the blast cabinet, see how it comes out, because if it's full of holes then it's no use, is it? So just by looking at the profile, it's not this. This is much shallower. Profile's not the same, is it? But then again, flattening it is probably easier than bending it, so I'll still do that. Yeah, definitely shallower. This bit would definitely be shallower. Don't know. I'll get this cleaned up and we'll go from there. Right, so I've had that bit soaking in rust remover overnight, and then I blasted it this morning to get rid of most of the rest of the rust. I'm going to need to go back over it again, and I'm not going to be able to keep this, but until I've got this onto the car, it's staying, and then I'll replace, just replace the rest of that lip. Now I've just had the hammer and dolly on it, and then the hammer and bench to flatten out the transition between here and the wheel arch, because I've taken this from the rear of the wing and it's actually much flatter at the front, but I think this is pretty good now based on the other side, and I can get it, at least hold it in place, and it looks pretty decent. Now I'm just trying to figure out what to cut now to attach things together. Alright, so what I'm going to try is I'm going to tack this piece to this piece in this position, and then take it all off and try and cut through and join them on the bench. Alright, so I've had that on the bench and I've gone along there, cotton butt style, and got the rear piece out. It's only tacked, but let's see how well that works. Or didn't work. That's actually pretty good. Well, that's nice. Okay, well, I'll go and weld this up properly, and then we can probably think about getting it fitted into the wing. Right, so that's ready to go. I've just been in here and managed to weld up some of the holes in the edge of the wheel arch. So I think that's preferable to cutting more of it out. I've just trimmed here, and I'm going to go now scribe around the edge of all of this and start to work on fitting it up properly. Alright, so actually I've scribed it and I figured I couldn't see the scribe line of the steel grey against the grey primer. Just chucked a bit of black on, so that should give me a little bit of a better mark. And also, as I had to wait for that to dry, I went ahead and painted the, prime the inside of this repair piece as well, because then we can just get on with putting it on. Oh yeah, and I also ran the grinder along these edges to make them as flat, as straight as I could, because beforehand they were a little bit rough cut. So now I'm going to cut through below this line and sneak up to it. The idea being to fit this up with as little gap as possible. This isn't quite working ideally. I've got my line up okay here, but then really this needs to twist a bit to come in to line, and I think that will be fine. But it's not ideal. You really want to be manipulating stuff like that. But I'm gonna get a couple of tacks in along here, and if I have to, I'll cut them away. So I've got that in. As you can see, I ended up putting a slit through there because it just wouldn't quite line up. I guess with having the cleco'd in, plugging it against the wing, it just wasn't actually quite the right shape. I was squashing it into it. So that feels now that we get the smooth transition, and that feels like we get the smooth transition. And obviously a little bit of weld here, but what I have realised I forgot to do is drill any holes in here to let me plug weld it, so I'm going to have to do the absolutely blast it with the welder pen. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is just individually grind off all the tops of these welds and then check what the alignment's like and flange it if it's not aligned there. Bring it as close as I can to get the panels lined up and just try and get this join as neat as possible. That wheelarch flows quite nicely down to here. So that's looking pretty good. Anyway, I will do more grinding and then some more welding and repeat that until this is all attached. Well, there we go. Now it's not absolutely perfect. I've struggled a lot with having a low in here, which I've not entirely managed to get out. It has changed shape a little bit, so it's not meeting that perfectly. I think when, well, I'm going to try and get the stretcher onto that, just to tweak that flange and see if that will bring it out. And you can see, you know, I've not managed to flange my welds perfectly. Can't really get inside and grind, but this is. It's a lump. Might try and knock that down. Anyway, this is the level of finish I'm going for. I don't need to go any further for what this is. I'm gonna try and knock that down because that's quite a high. And then I'll chuck a bit of paint on and I'll look at it then. And there we are with the prime one. You can still see the weld. But it's not bad, really. So, that's leaving us very little to do on the outside of the car. Aside from some dents. Well, there's some little dents on the wing, which I'm going to try and improve. But there's a big dent on the bonnet bulge that really needs dealing with. And this one. It's there. Something somebody really smacked into here. I've done quite a lot of shrinking and improved it quite a lot, but it still needs to go down a bit more. Well, otherwise, it's that little corner on the rear of the wing, or the front or the back of the wing, something like that. And that is probably it, well, except for I need to go look in here because I think there's some rock. There's always more, isn't there? You know. Anyway, that is job ticked off the list. And that's where we're going to stop this one. So we've gone through, we've got the front of the nose done, except for the inner panels, but you know, they're coming, they're there, they just need fitting. And I want to do that when the bonnet is back off the car. Point now is to do everything so we've got the outside in a good state. Then the bonnet can come off and the body can come off and actually go on the rotisserie, and we can do the underneath bits that still need doing. And I think a little bit of chassis repair, so there's a little bit of welding needed. Not rust, but just a tear from what I remember. Anyway, if you want to see that, make sure you're subscribed, then you'll find out when the next episode appears. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you next time.